Welcome to all of you. In today's session, we are going to see the nature of the environments. While considering the artificial intelligence, the task environments are nothing but the problems to which rational agents are the solutions. In this session, we are going to see how to specify a task environment by illustrating some examples. Specifying the task environment. The task environment are essentially the problems to which rational agents are the solutions. The rationality of a simple vacuum cleaner agent, we had to specify the performance measure, the environment and the agents, actuators and sensors. Here we group these under a heading of task environment. So here we call this as PEAS. P stands for performance, E stands for environment, A stands for actuators and S stands for sensors. In designing an agent, the first step must always be to specify the task environment as fully as possible. The vacuum world was a simple example. Let us consider a more complex problem. PEAS for an automated taxi driver. We should point out before the reader becomes alarmed that a fully automated taxi is currently somewhat beyond the capabilities of existing technology. A full driving task is extremely open-ended. There is no limit to the novel combination of circumstances. While considering this example, first, what is the performance measure to which we would like our automated driver to aspire? So, desirable qualities include getting to the correct destination, minimizing fuel consumption and wear and tear, minimizing the trip time as well as the cost, minimizing violations of traffic laws and disturbances to other drivers, maximizing the safety and passengers' comfort and as well as maximizing the profits. Next, what is the driving environment that the taxi will face? Any taxi driver must deal with the variety of roads ranging from the rural and urban alleys to 12-lane freeways. The road contains other traffic, pedestrians, stray animals, road work, police cars, puddles and potholes. The taxi must also interact with potential and actual passengers. There are also some optional choices. The taxi might need to operate in Southern California where snow is a problem and in Alaska where it is not. It could always be driving on the right, or we might want it to be flexible enough to drive on the left when it is in Britain or Japan. Obviously, the most restricted the environment, the easier the design problem. The actuators for an automated taxi includes those available to human driver. Control over the engine through the actuator and control over the steering and braking. In addition, it will need output to a display screen or voice synthesizer to talk back to the passengers, and perhaps some way to communicate with other vehicles politely or otherwise. The basic sensors for the taxi will include one or more comfortable video cameras so that it can see the road. It might augment these with infrared or sonar sensors to detect distances to other cars and obstacles. To avoid speeding tickets, the taxi should have a speedometer and to control the vehicle property, especially on curbs. It should have an accelerometer. To determine mechanical state of the vehicle, it will need the usual array of engine, fuel and electrical system sensors. It should contain the global positioning system so that it doesn't get lost. Finally, it will need a keyboard or microphone for the passenger to request a destination. More such examples are provided further. The PEAS for a medical diagnostics system. Here the performance measures are healthy patient and reduced costs, while the environment is patient and hospital staff. So which type of patient it is, which type of hospital it is, and which staff it is needed to handle the patient. The actuators used here are display of the questions, what type of test is to be done on the patient, then diagnosis of the diseases, which type of treatment should be given to the particular patient and the referrals, and which type of sensors we have to use here. These are the keyboard for the entry of symptoms, findings and patient's answers for the questions asked by the diagnosist. The next example is the satellite image analysis system. So here the performance measure are correct image categorization, so which type of image it is, and the environment used is downlink from the orbiting satellite. The actuators used here are display of scene categorization, and the sensors used are color pixel arrays. The next example is part picking robot. In case of part picking robot, the performance measure is percentage of parts in correct bins. So here it should be the parts should be correctly separate out and put into a correct bin. Then the environment is conveyor belt with parts and bins. The actuators are nothing but jointed arms and hand, and the sensors used should be camera joint angle sensors. Our next example is a refinery controller. In case of refinery controller, the performance measure is purity, yield and safety, while the environment is refinery and operators. The actuators used here are valves, pumps, heaters and displays. The sensor should be temperature sensor, pressure sensor to measure the pressure and temperature, and the chemical sensors. The next example includes the interactive English tutor. Okay, so here the performance measure is student score on the provided test. The environment here is the set of students and the testing agency. The actuators are display of exercises, suggestions and corrections, and the sensors are nothing but the keyboard entry. So these are the some examples of the agents and their performance measure. Then we will go for the properties of task environments. Okay, so there are different properties are provided here. Those are listed out. Fully observable versus partially observable, then single agent versus multi-agent, deterministic versus stochastic, episodic versus sequential, static versus dynamic, discrete versus continuous, and known versus unknown. We will see one by one all the properties here. Okay, fully observable versus partially observable. If an agent's sensors give it access to the complete state of the environment at each point in time, then we say that the task environment is fully observable. A task environment is effectively fully observable if sensors detect all aspects that are relevant to the choice of actions. Relevance in turn depends on the performance measure. Fully observable environments are convenient because the agent need not maintain any internal state to keep track of the world. An environment might be partially observable because of noisy and inaccurate sensors or because part of the state are simply missing from the sensors data. For example, vacuum cleaner agent with a local dirt sensor cannot tell whether there is dirt in other squares, and an automated taxi cannot see what other drivers are thinking. If the agent has no sensors at all, then the environment is unobservable. Deterministic versus stochastic. The environment is deterministic if the next state of the environment is completely determined by the current state and the actions executed by the agent. Then we say the environment is deterministic. Otherwise, it is stochastic. In principle, an agent need not worry about the uncertainty in a fully observable deterministic environment. If the environment is partially observable, then it could appear to be stochastic. Most real situations are so complex that it is impossible to keep track of all the unobserved aspects for practical purpose. They must be treated as stochastic. The taxi driving is clearly stochastic in this sense because one can never predict the behavior of the taxi traffic exactly. Moreover, one's tire blow out and one's engine seizes up without warning. The vacuum world, as we described, it is deterministic, but variations can include stochastic elements such as randomly appearing dirt and an unreliable suction mechanism. We can say that an environment is uncertain if it is not fully observable or not deterministic. If the environment is deterministic except for the actions of other agents, then the environment is strategic. Episodic versus sequential. In an episodic task environment, the agent's experience is divided into atomic episodes. In each episode, the agent receives a percept and then performs a single action. The next episode does not depend on the actions taken in previous episode. Many classification tasks are episodic. For example, an agent that has to spot defective parts on an assembly line bases each decision on the current part, regardless of previous decisions. Moreover, the current decision doesn't affect whether the next part is defective. In sequential environment, on the other hand, the current decision could affect all future decisions. Chase and taxi driver are sequential. In both cases, short-term actions can have long-term consequences. Episodic environments are much simpler than sequential environment because the agent does not need to think ahead. The static versus dynamic environment. If the environment can change while an agent is deliberating, then we say that the environment is dynamic for that agent. Otherwise, it is static. The static environments are easy to deal with because the agent need not keep looking at the world while it is deciding on an action. Okay, nor it need to be worried about the passage of time. Dynamic environment, on the other hand, are continuously ask the agent what it wants to do. If the environment itself does not change with the passage of time, but the agent's performance score does, then we say the environment is semi-dynamic. The taxi driving is clearly dynamic. On the other cars and the taxi itself keep moving while the driving algorithm differs about what to do next. Chess, when played with a clock, is semi-dynamic. Crossword puzzles are static. Now the discrete versus continuous environment. The discrete or continuous distinction applies to the state of the environment, to the way time is handled, and to the percepts and actions of the agent. The limited number of distinct, clearly defined states, percepts, and actions. For example, the chess environment has a finite number of distinct states. Chess also has a discrete set of percepts and actions. Taxi driving is a continuous state and continuous time problem. The speed and location of the taxi and of other vehicles sweep through the range of continuous vehicles and do so smoothly over time. Taxi driving actions are also continuous. Input from digital camera is discrete, strictly speaking, but it typically treats as representing continuously varying intensities and locations. The single agent and multi-agent environment. An agent is operating by itself in an environment is the single agent environment. The example of single agent environment is the crossword puzzle. In the crossword puzzle, an agent solving the puzzle by itself is clearly a single agent environment, whereas an agent playing chess is an two-agent environment. So the question here arises that does the agent A have a treat an object B as an agent, or can be treated as a stochastically behaving object? Whether B's behavior is best described by the maximizing a performance measure whose value depends on agent's A behavior. The example is chess is competitive multi-agent environment, while taxi driving is partially cooperative multi-stage environment. The chase is a competitive multi-stage environment. In a taxi driving environment, on the other hand, avoiding collisions maximizes the performance measure of all the agents, so it is partially cooperative multi-stage environment, multi-agent environment. It is also partially competitive because, for example, only one car can occupy a parking space. The agent design problems in multi-stage environments are often quite different from those in single agent environments. For example, communication often emerges as a rational behavior in multi-stage environment. In some competitive environments, randomized behavior is rational because it avoids the pitfalls of predictability. So here are different types of environments we have seen. So those environments are nothing but fully observable and partially observable, single agent versus multi-agent, deterministic versus stochastic, episodic versus sequential, then static versus dynamic environment, discrete versus continuous environment. Okay, one environment is there, known and unknown environment. Okay, so this distinction refers not to the environment itself but the agent's state of knowledge about the laws of physics of the environment. In the known environment, the outcomes for all the actions are given, and in the unknown environment, the agent will have to learn how to work in order to make good decisions. So this is all about the environment types. Thank you. I hope this session is very useful for you. Thank you again.